So I wanted to ask you, is the multiverse being overdone? Whether it's DC or Marvel, everyone's twisting and turning with the multiverse. They use it as an escape, a plot hole loop to escape anything serious or severe. I just want to know, is the multiverse being overdone in your opinion? What do you think?
It is being overdone, most definitely, and it just started you brought this up earlier that it started with the Spider-Verse,
Right.
with the Miles Morales film, which is so true because that's where No Way Home got its inspiration from. Then it was just a snowball effect from there, and the multiverse has always been there, just only in comic book form.
Right.
That's why you can have a different Batman stories, or they just take place in different Earths. You know what I mean? That's why you can have different Superman because they take place in different Earths.
Right.
Same thing in Marvel and whatnot. But now it's starting to bleed over into live action. And I think the main reason why they are doing it that way, especially, I'm not going to say Spider-Verse did this, but the reason why No Way Home's doing it, why Deadpool 3 is doing it, why The Flash did it, why more movies are going to do it, is because it's a way to, for one, hit the nostalgic button, draw more people into the audience. For two, Flash did a really good job with this, I heard. There's so many castings that didn't happen back in the day, like Nicolas Cage almost being Superman, and many more examples that they're able to do that in this Flash movie.
Right.
So it gives him a reason to do that. Again, something cool to add in. And again, kind of nostalgia, but it's not. But it's just a way for him to bring in more money. And if it works, if one person's doing it and it works, everyone else is going to start doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You even see with the Loki TV show, that's multiverse.
Right.
And then at the end of Quantumanium, you see all these Kangs and whatnot.
Right.
So it's like, so it is becoming overdone already, and it literally just started.
It's only been for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and I don't see it will die eventually.
Of course.
Like anything is going to die, but because you can only go so far with it. I hear Secret Wars, this Avengers movie, is going to be a multiverse type of film. So yeah, it's just becoming. It is just a fun way, but also a kind of a dumb way for Marvel to connect all the movies they've made in the past. You know what I mean?
It's a plot hole loop that people like to use because it can pass as real, it can sound real. Now, the biggest reason I wanted to talk about this is I know whoever's listening to this is already going to be, or it might be your first time hearing us, but it's because it's about IP. IP has never been more important than now, intellectual property. And not everyone here has had the luxury of reading Quadrants by the Quadrants book, or by Robert Kiyosaki. But this really comes back down to the quadrants and about being a bee and about having a system. And if no time shows it in Hollywood more than now, there's no time that's shown it more in Hollywood than now. And what I mean by this is every time, because we've had 3 different Spider-Mans or 5 different Spider-Mans, the value of the actor continues to go down as the IP continues to go up in value. And so when we start introducing this multiverse, for them to cut Ezra Miller out of this next sequel or this next installment is a walk in the park. The only reason they didn't do it already is because they already filmed so much, and they're filming for years.
That's true.
But if it wasn't for that, for plot reasons, it's easy to get rid of him. He's just a variant in this this multiverse world, right?
And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, for the Flash, spoiler alert, so turn off. Didn't they stick Flash in George Clooney's Batman universe?
They did.
That's so messed up.
At the very end.
He's like the worst Batman. It's like George Clooney admits that he's the worst Batman, so we're definitely never going to see him again as far as Ezra Miller's Flash.
Yeah.
But it's just, like you said, that goes to show you.
The value of the actor keeps going down with each of these, and the IP gets more valuable, right? Tom Holland sounds like he's irreplaceable, but that's only to a fool. He sounds like he's irreplaceable, right? Anyone who has their head wrapped around the situation that's going on here, what's irreplaceable is a Spider-Man IP, the concept of this kid in New York, the underdog, who is relatable, going through, growing up while saving the day between school and other things like his job and things like that. It's the IP that has value today, has value 10 years from now, has like 30 years from now. They don't really care too much about the actors. That's not their problem.
Yeah.
And so if the multiverse, if nothing has proved to you guys how powerful IP is, the multiverse should definitely help prove that, because none of these variations of Batman, they sell more tickets. They sell tickets as of now, but the part of it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's not about a single actor. It's about the conglomerate of actors who have portrayed it or could have portrayed it, and all these actors are walking away with a fraction of what they would have been paid years ago to put on that suit.
That's true, because I think that's why they say, is the movie star dying? And we have a video about that, because now movie stars, because with the amount of IP that is out there, especially mostly superhero films, are superheroes replacing the movie star.
Everyone's interchangeable.
Exactly. Everyone is interchangeable. That's why this whole thing with Jonathan Majors, people talk about, oh, is he going to be replaced, yada, yada, yada. It's definitely possible, because it's
an easy thing to pull off.
Especially with the multiverse. Absolutely.
Go ahead, finish that
thought.
Oh,
no, you're good. I was going to say, because in Iron Man 2, they replaced Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle. Terrence Howard was the highest paid actor in Iron Man 1. In Iron Man 2, they asked him to take 1/8 of his salary so he can keep, because they wanted to pay Robert Downey Jr. more than him. And Terrence Howard was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And guess what happened? They replaced him with Don Cheadle.
And how many people miss Terrence Howard in Iron Man?
Nobody.
Because we're here for Iron Man.
Yeah, that's true. You want to know what's funny? I remember when I saw that movie in theater, I was like, oh, where's Terrence Howard? And you know what? I forgot about it.
You probably forgot about it within 8 to 12 minutes of the film starting. Because the system is what got you there. The name on the film is Iron Man, right? It's a system, guys. It's a system. Even down to the fact that as soon as his mask goes down, you have a stunt guy behind there. So with all these heroes, so they mask up, there's a stunt guy or stand-in who stays in the mask, and the lead only does the dialogue parts and goes home for the day.
Yeah.
Because it's a system. It's a system. They said the reason why the first Green Goblin was so good, because William Dafoe had to really fight for that role. He fought and fought and fought to get the role of Green Goblin. And his promise to the director was, finally, give me a chance. And the best part about it is, no matter when that character's on screen, mask up, mask down, I'm going to be behind that mask. I don't care how many takes it takes. And so when you watch that first Spider-Man and him as a villain, all those mannerisms, when he's masked up and he's sitting there talking to Peter while Peter's on the ground, those are all William Dafoe.
That's dope. I didn't know that.
And so, and he took that upon himself, because that wasn't really the norm, or wasn't necessary. What's not necessary is just not done, right?
Yeah.
And so, in this industry now more than ever, everyone's interchangeable, or people are becoming more interchangeable. I have, I like to get to know him more. But I'm gonna use Jim Carrey for example. I watched Liar Liar. I watched The Mask. And there's only one person who can do either of those films, and it's Jim Carrey.
Nobody. Dumb and Dumber, Bruce Almighty.
I think they did Bruce Almighty with a different cast at one point, but
yeah, they did Evan Almighty, but it definitely wasn't as good as Bruce. Not even close.
But Jim Carrey's, Jim Carrey, as far as skill sets go, as far as his uniqueness on screen. I hear, and we work in Hollywood, but he does take reins of the set. He does take control of the set. He does make it the Jim Carrey show, and it works in his favor, because he's not interchangeable, right?
You can't replace him.
You can't replace him. Not even as Dr. Robotnik. You know, when Sonic will lose, they try to replace him as Dr. Robotnik. Like, Sonic is expensive IP, but without Jim Carrey, I don't know.
Man,
I don't know.
Jim Carrey, he kills me in that movie, because he's so over the top but so funny. You know what I mean?
That's just who he is. And I tell you, the guys on set, they might be going
pulling their hairs out.
Yeah, knock twice if you need help, or wink twice if you need help, or whatever it is. Like, give us a signal, because it is his show, and that's how he operates, and it works for the individual. Especially when you're comedic like that.
Yeah.
And it works for the project, because people globally love to see him. but he's one of few. You know, I told you that Rush Hour was originally supposed to be Will Smith.
It would not be as funny. I don't think it would be, man. I don't think it would be nearly as funny or memorable.
And this episode is a multiverse episode, guys. The reason I say it's a multiverse episode because it connects with so many other episodes we had. And the episode we had was, it seems like the comedic actors are the ones that are, irreplaceable.
Yeah.
Like the comedy aspects of one that's irreplaceable. We watched MultiVerse, and I walked out of it, and I came back and confidently told you Shamik Moore will be voicing the third film because his comedic timing in that's impeccable. Right, even the one scene where he's talking to his dad by the bridge or whatever, and his dad's like, "My son, he just could be so dumb." Said maybe you should get off his ass. What? Maybe you should talk to him. But even his timing is impeccable, and you cannot get that out of all the actors. The same reason why Eric Schultz was replaced by Michael J. Fox, because the timing was impeccable.
They said one thing that I don't mean to cut you off. They said that one thing that they liked about Michael J. Fox was that every time Biff stood up and his eyes widened, that was like a legit reaction, because it's like there was such a height discrepancy between Michael J. Fox and Biff, and it's just like yo, this dude's tall, and I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it's true, because Eric Stokes was like much taller than Michael J. Fox, and then they had to recast a love interest as well because of that.
Oh, and one thing that I did like is that every time Biff said, "You gotta make like a tree and get out of here," and they said that the way that Eric Schultz delivered, and then Michael J. Fox or other characters would be like, "You mean make like a tree and leave?" Yeah. They said the way that Eric Schultz delivered that wasn't. I think they say he took that too seriously, but the way that Michael J. Fox was like, the way he delivered it was just way more comedic and just like way more comedic timing.
You can't buy it. If they could have bought it, they would have bought it for Eric Schultz. We can't buy that quality, and so for the most part, everyone's replaceable. There's a handful that you can't really do it to. Now that we saw Chris Tucker on the phone with the guys who are doing the ransom and stuff like that.
Who is this, Chelsea Clinton?
Yeah, Chelsea Clinton. Yeah. He said, all right, man. He said, oh, but
he's like, who's this? Who's you? Who are you?
Who are you? Even the whole time he's hitting on that girl throughout that was like another side story. Him hitting on that girl in the office the whole time throughout that movie. Yeah. You believe it. Every time Chris Tucker hits on a woman in these movies, you believe him to be like that. It's just like, he just killed it, man.
And his improv is just, I mean, he was doing that because he's a Michael Jackson fanatic.
He's a Michael Jackson fanatic. His improv is ridiculous. You watch the bloopers, man. Like that dude's funny. We talked about it before. Yeah. We don't, Will Smith's phenomenal, but we don't find him like funny. Stand up funny.
He's not like, exactly.
You know what I mean? He can be in a funny moment. We don't find him funny like that, like that. And so, but Chris Tucker, that fool, he showed it in Friday. That fool's always been funny. You know what I mean?
Chris Tucker back then, I don't know if he's still the same way now. I haven't seen Air, but he could walk into a room, it would be dead, and like within 5 to 10 minutes, that room would be jumping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Will Smith back then, I'm not saying it won't be jumping, but it wouldn't be jumping in the same way. You know what I'm saying?
Nah. But if Will Smith could successfully be replaced and it's his choice, Will Smith's the man, but if Will Smith could successfully be replaced on Rush Hour, could successfully be replaced on The Matrix, right? That goes to show you how these systems can make you interchangeable unless you have some sort of quality, this X factor about you that only you can bring to the table. And I would say that would be charisma and some sort of and comedic timing. But if you could find another way to be irreplaceable, because there's no one else. I don't think Leonardo could be replaceable on Titanic, and that was all drama per se. But then he also credited to his charisma. So it's a tough thing to say post the release of something. But for the most part, it's hard to be interchangeable. If you can find a way to do it, do it. This is Black Hollywood, and we thank you guys for tuning in.
Exactly. See you guys at the top.
See you at the top.